Welcome back to ZNGP Today. Chaos struck before the lights even went out at Phillip Island. Marco Bezzecchi, the eventual sprint winner, faced a terrifying and bizarre moment when he collided with a flock of seagulls during the warm-up lap of the Australian MotoGP Sprint. Despite the scare, and a dead bird lodged in the front of his Aprilia, Bezzecchi kept his composure, survived the chaos, and went on to take a commanding win by over 3 seconds. The once dominant Pecco Bagnaia has hit a mysterious wall. After winning both races in Japan just weeks ago, his form has suddenly collapsed. At Phillip Island, Bagnaia endured another nightmare sprint, finishing second to last, over 30 seconds behind the leader. The data shows violent vibrations on his Ducati, but the cause remains a mystery. For Pecco and the Ducati Lenovo Team, frustration is turning into disbelief. After a stunning pole position at Phillip Island, Fabio Quartararo's sprint turned from promise to frustration. The monster Yamaha rider confessed that his wrong tire choice cost him a potential podium, and that ignoring his team's advice was a mistake. Despite showing strong pace early in the weekend, Quartararo slipped from the front row to finish 7th in the Australian MotoGP Sprint. Jack Miller came heartbreakingly close to delivering Yamaha's first podium at Phillip Island, and his first since joining the Pramac Yamaha squad, after an all-out, last-lap battle with Pedro Acosta. The Australian fan favorite finished just 0.060s behind the KTM rookie after an intense fight that had the grandstands roaring. Though 4th place wasn't the fairy tale ending, Miller's performance was arguably his best since 2023, and a clear sign of progress for Yamaha. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Moments after setting off for the warm-up lap, Bezzecchi's smooth start turned into an unexpected shock. A flock of seagulls swooped across the track, and before he could react, the Aprilia rider struck one, possibly two. One bird hit his helmet, while another became stuck to the front of his RSGP. When we started the warm-up lap, they also started theirs. I hit one, for sure, because it was on my bike. I think I also hit one on my head. Bezzecchi said he was pretty scared in the moment, unsure how to react without endangering the riders behind him. He chose not to brake, focusing instead on maintaining control, a split-second decision that may have prevented a pile-up on the opening lap. During the race, Bezzecchi noticed strange front-end feedback from his Aprilia. He feared he might have broken a wing in the collision, unaware that damage was, in fact, the seagull itself still attached to the fairing. I felt something in the first laps and was struggling with the front tire. In my head, I thought maybe I broke a wing. When I crossed the finish line, I checked, and saw I had one more instead of a broken one. The surreal moment became one of the weekend's talking points, recalling Andrea Iannone's infamous 2015 bird strike at the same circuit, a now legendary Phillip Island phenomenon. Despite the early drama, Bezzecchi delivered a brilliant performance, recovering from a mid-race mistake that cost him time to the leaders before storming back to win by over 3 seconds. It marked his 3rd sprint victory of the season, strengthening his push for 3rd place in the championship, now just 8 points behind Pecco Bagnaia. What began as a nightmare turned into one of Bezzecchi's most composed rides of the season, blending calm under pressure with race-winning pace. However, the celebrations were short-lived. Bezzecchi will have to serve a double long-lap penalty in Sunday's Grand Prix, a carryover punishment for his collision with Marc Marquez in Indonesia. Even with the penalty looming, Bezzecchi's confidence and Aprilia's form are both soaring. His resilience at Phillip Island shows why he's quickly becoming one of MotoGP's most unpredictable and fearless competitors. From panic to podium, Marco Bezzecchi's Australian sprint win will be remembered for more than just the result. It was a masterclass in composure amid chaos. A seagull strike, a moment of fear, and yet another victory. In true MotoGP fashion, the wildest moments often make the most remarkable stories. Just 3 weeks ago, Bagnaia looked unstoppable in Motegi, pole, double win, total control. Now, it's as if the magic has vanished. After crashing out in Mandalika and suffering another disaster in Australia, Pecco finds himself lost at sea. It was a difficult day, but we're still checking the data to understand what happened. The bike was shaking a lot, but we don't know why. It's not the setup or the electronics. We're trying to understand what it is. Despite countless attempts to fix it, the Ducati engineers can't trace the source of the violent oscillations. The Bezzecchi GP, usually a masterpiece of stability, suddenly behaves like a wild animal. Bagnaia revealed that both of his bikes have become unpredictable. Even the one that felt normal during practice turned unrideable during the sprint. Yesterday one bike was fine and the other impossible to ride. Today even the good one rebelled. In qualifying I felt something strange, and in the sprint it was impossible. I was just a passenger trying to control the shaking, and sometimes I had to close the throttle. It was very strange. Onboard footage showed visible movement through the corners, a clear sign that the Ducati's rear was losing stability under acceleration. For a rider known for precision, it's a nightmare scenario. For the first time this season, Ducati missed a podium in a sprint. Without Marc Marquez, who's sidelined with a shoulder injury, the Bologna factory's dominance looked fragile. If Marc had been here, he would have finished on the podium. So maybe it's still the best bike. But right now, my two bikes aren't working normally. We can't explain all this movement and vibration. Pecco's words highlight a deeper worry inside Ducati. How can the most advanced machine on the grid suddenly lose its balance? Twice in 2 rounds. From Le Mans onward, Bagnaia says the feeling on the bike has steadily worsened. What began as minor discomfort has evolved into a full-blown crisis. Yes, it's worse now, and that's hard to understand. Before, I couldn't fight, but at least the bike worked. From Le Mans, and especially from Austria, it started feeling much worse. We're trying to understand why. Adding insult to injury, Bagnaia will start Sunday's Grand Prix from 14th after receiving a 3-place grid penalty for blocking Marco Bezzecchi in Q2. For a triple world champion, this ending feels unworthy of his caliber. The mystery of the shaking Ducati has turned Pecco Bagnaia's title defense into a riddle even his engineers can't solve. Once the calm and confident face of Ducati excellence, Pecco now rides with uncertainty, and a bike that refuses to obey. Unless answers come soon, 2025's closing races could mark not just a slump, but the unraveling of Ducati's iron grip on MotoGP. Starting from pole, Quartararo looked ready to challenge for his first sprint podium of the season. But even before the lights went out, his race was compromised, all because of a bold, but costly, tire decision. I made a mistake with the front tire. The team pushed me a lot to go with the hard, but I decided to go with the medium. He admitted to MotoGP.com. I made a mistake, it happens. But our pace was great, and now we know we need the hard tire for tomorrow. The Frenchman's choice backfired almost immediately as he struggled with grip and front-end stability in the warmer afternoon temperatures. Quartararo's confidence with the medium compound came from qualifying success, but track conditions had shifted. As soon as the sprint began, the medium front started to overheat and lose performance. This morning I made pole with the medium and didn't feel any weak point, he explained. But this afternoon, the team said it's much hotter. I felt the wind was cold, but from lap 1, the tire was like chewing gum. For us, you really need the front here, and we didn't have it. Without the crucial front-end confidence, Quartararo was shuffled back to 5th on the opening lap and quickly lost more ground to Pedro Acosta and Fabio Di Giannantonio. While Quartararo struggled, Yamaha teammate Jack Miller proved the team's recommendation was right. Miller, running the hard front, battled for the final podium spot and finished ahead of his French counterpart. That contrast underlined Quartararo's frustration, not just with the result, but with the knowledge that the correct call had been clear before the race. Still, the Yamaha star remains optimistic about Sunday's main event. "I think it's really important to stay with the same goals, push hard in the beginning and understand the tires well. Having the hard will be super important." Even with a double long lap penalty, sprint winner Marco Bezzecchi remains Quartararo's favorite for victory on Sunday. "The long lap here is not so bad, and we saw how strong he is on the pace," he said, acknowledging Aprilia's continued dominance. While Quartararo looks to bounce back, Bezzecchi's relentless form, despite adversity, continues to set the standard across the grid. It was a lesson learned the hard way for Fabio Quartararo, a reminder that sometimes experience and instinct must bow to data and team advice. From pole position to 7th place, the Frenchman's sprint at Phillip Island became a cautionary tale in tire management. But with confidence in Yamaha's pace and a clear plan for Sunday, Quartararo will aim to turn regret into redemption, this time with the hard front firmly fitted. Saturday began with a breakthrough. Miller surged through Q1 and stormed to third on the grid, marking Yamaha's first front-row lockout in more than 4 years alongside pole-sitter Fabio Quartararo. For Miller, it was validation of the team's hard work and the latest step in his adaptation to the M1. "It's been a fantastic day. Yesterday I was frustrated. I had great feeling but couldn't put it all together. The guys did a great job improving the bike, and it worked really well." The setup progress wasn't just technical, it gave Miller confidence to attack from the start, setting the stage for a fiery sprint in front of his home crowd. Miller launched cleanly and stayed with the leaders throughout the 13-lap sprint. After clearing Alex Marquez mid-race, he found himself locked in a fierce back-and-forth with Pedro Acosta for the final podium spot. "I got off to an excellent start, but got stuck behind Alex. When I finally made the move, Pedro came through and passed both of us, so the fight started all over again." The Australian's aggressive but controlled riding reignited the Phillip Island crowd, who haven't seen him fight this high up the order in years. The closing lap was vintage Miller, full commitment, late braking, and calculated chaos. He shadowed Acosta through Lucky Heights and prepared a final strike into the last corner. But instinct won over impulse. "I had a little look, but it would have ended in disaster if I'd kept that one going." Backing out by a fraction preserved both riders and showed the veteran's maturity. The crowd still erupted. Miller had thrown everything at it, and the 0.060s gap told the story of his effort. Despite missing the podium, Miller radiated satisfaction post-race. The performance, in front of his home fans, marked a turning point in confidence and rhythm. "It was an awesome race, and I'm thrilled to have made the Aussie fans proud. Being here at home helps me give my best. Now I just need to bring that energy to every race." That statement hints at a mental unlock, the kind of balance between aggression and composure that Miller has been searching for all season. Pramac Yamaha boss Gino Borso hailed Miller's weekend as a breakthrough moment, proof that Yamaha's development work and Miller's determination are starting to align. Jack proved his strength not just in the race, but also in qualifying. The podium was close, and right now, a 4th place feels almost like a victory for us. Jack Miller didn't get his home podium, but he got something perhaps more valuable: momentum and proof that the M1 can fight again. Against Acosta's fearless aggression, Miller showed restraint, control, and racecraft honed by experience. For the Aussie and Yamaha alike, the 4th place finish may mark the first genuine step toward resurgence. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time!